Mr.
Yes.
William Wragg has made some pretty serious allegations this morning. He suggested that colleagues were intimidated, that they were threatened to have money withdrawn from their constituencies. He says it's blackmail and that they should report it to the police. And he's also talked about officials briefing embarrassing stories to the press. I've spoken to MPs who recognise some of that. Are those tactics being used to try to stop MPs speaking out against you?
I've seen no evidence, heard no evidence to support any of those allegations, Anushka, and what I'm focused on is what we're doing to deal with the number one priority of the British people, which is coming through COVID, and we've made enormous progress thanks to the vaccine rollout, fastest in Europe. The booster campaign has enabled us to open up. We're moving back to status quo ante, back to Plan A, opening up our economy. We've got the most open economy in society in Europe, fastest growth in the G7 as a result of that booster campaign. But we have this huge issue we have to deal with, which is the number of people who sadly did not come forward for scans or screens during COVID. We've got to fix those backlogs. That's why I'm here today at this fantastic diagnostic centre.
I mean, I'm telling you that I'm hearing evidence from MPs. Will you look for that evidence?
Of course, but what we're focused on is what we can do to clear the COVID backlogs, and I just must stress how vital that is, Anushka. We're putting money into the NHS, and that's crucial. We're supporting our amazing doctors and nurses who've kept us going throughout the pandemic. There are 44,000 more healthcare professionals now in the NHS than there were in 2020. That's a great thing. But the waiting lists, they're tired and they're stressed. And what we've got to do is make life easier for them by by ensuring we have diagnostics done as fast as possible on sites like this. And that's what we're doing.
So you will look for evidence. One of your colleagues told me that you're in a bullish mood, and you certainly sound more confident. You're clearly focused very much on COVID. Your aides tell us that if there is a leadership contest, you'd fight it. Are they right?
Anushka, I admire your journalism, but I just got to tell you, I'm focused on what I think is the number one issue for the British people, and it is clearing the COVID backlogs, but also looking at what we can do with new techniques. And so diagnostics is so much part of the delay. If you need treatment, if you're worried about cancer, you need to get a screen or a scan. And what is happening is too often people are simply being delayed because they can't get it in time. Now, we're putting 2.3 billion, I should say, into 100 new diagnostics hubs, community diagnostics hubs, to bring that screen, that scan closer to you, but also to take the pressure off the acute sector so that people don't have to go into hospital to get the treatment, and so that we can speed it up. If you look at the waiting lists, and we are looking absolutely ruthlessly at these waiting lists, 80% of the delay is caused by either waiting to see a specialist, a consultant, or waiting for diagnostics. The rest is waiting for a procedure like a hip or a heart operation or whatever. But so if you can speed up diagnostics, making use of community diagnostics hubs that we're investing in around the country, you can make we hope will make a huge difference.
The problem is that I do understand what you want to focus on, but the questions about leadership are really important and people want answers. You've said quite clearly that we should wait until Sue Gray reports. Can I just get from you a guarantee that if she points the finger at you, that you will take action, that you would resign, and if she points fingers at others, that you would, as Sajid Javid suggested this morning, take action against them?
Anushka, I just want to repeat what I've said. The issue for me today and
but I'm asking you about something else.
I understand that.
And people
completely.
find it hard to understand. You say you didn't know the rules were broken.
I understand where I've said a lot.
You've said that
I've
before.
said a lot about all those issues.
People are wondering if you
Anushka,
understood the rules.
And what we're focused on, what I'm focused on today, with the greatest respect, and I've said an awful lot about all those issues.
Okay.
What we're focused on is community diagnostics.
I understand you've said that, and you're not going to answer that question.
And making a huge
but one
difference
of your MPs
that we hope to make
did defect yesterday. I
to
do just want to ask if you knew that was coming, and are you worried others would do the same?
Anushka, I appreciate that your desire to take the conversation back to to that issue, I think the number one priority for government, for me personally, is looking at the state of our country as we come out of COVID. We hope that we're now on a route map back to complete normality. We've been able to move from Plan B back to the status quo ante, back to Plan A.
Okay.
People can go back to work. I think it's important that people remain cautious. But what we need to do above all now is look at the landscape, the health landscape post-COVID, and do everything in our power to get people the treatment they need. And the message I want to get over to people is, if you haven't had a screen, you haven't had a scan, you've been delayed or put off because of COVID, then now is the time.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Can I ask you about Ukraine, Prime Minister?
Yes, Ukraine, I'll do Ukraine. Yes, come on.
4 questions on leadership,
Yeah.
4 answers on COVID, 1 on
Come
Ukraine,
on.
please.
Yes.
President Biden has said Russia is likely to move in. Nobody wants a full-blown war. Have you spoken to the Prime Minister? Have you spoken to the President? How can this be de-escalated?
Yes. So as you know, there was what they call a quint discussion. So France, Germany, Italy, UK, and the United States about this. And look, be in no doubt that if Russia were to make any kind of incursion into Ukraine of any on any scale, whatever, I think that would be a disaster for not just for Ukraine, but for Russia. It would be a disaster for the world. And the UK stands squarely behind the sovereignty and integrity of Ukraine.